All right. It's already 8:30 p.m. IST. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from your respective time zones. Very briefly, as I usually do about TEG, of course, today is a special day. It's Dhanteras, and most of us celebrate in different parts of the world, irrespective of you're joining from the US, Europe, India, or wherever. And most of you probably would be celebrating. And thanks that you are enthusiastic about TEG and particularly this talk. So very briefly, I'll not take a lot of time. So the idea always has been that we provide a platform to budding entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs who are starting up, so that they can get some knowledge, some understanding, from veteran entrepreneurs, researchers, professors, scientists. And that has been the idea, that there's a platform, but also the platform would help these people to have and get support, so they can have open conversations but also get support. So we have an active WhatsApp and Telegram community. Of course, WhatsApp community is open to everyone. Telegram community is open to only IITB alumni, and we have more than 2,000 you know alumni and non-alumni in this community who are actively seeking help and making some kind of synergies and helping out each other and supporting each other. And that has been the motive from the very beginning. And also we have a set of mentors. Maybe you have come across the mentor list. If not, sometime during the talk I will share that as well. And of course, one of the mentors is with us, Rishi. And when we started the talk, coincidentally, the first talk was with the Hyderabad chapter, and Ramesh Tumuluriji, Ramesh is with us. He was the co-host with me, and we started with Mr. Ramanan Ramanathan. Of course, he knows Ramanan very well as well. And now again, we have people from Hyderabad, a speaker from Hyderabad, Murliji. So of course, 25th talk, and that coincidence kind of came to my mind, and I just wanted to share that. And we do have Ramesh, but again, he's a lot more relaxed, and because now he's the president of the ITB Hyderabad chapter, so probably he's a lot more relaxed. And I'll just give it to Rishi to formally introduce Murli. Please go ahead, Rishi.
Hey, thank you, Weber. Good morning, evening, wherever you are, everyone. I'm Rishikesh, a 97 graduate from IIT Bombay. My connection with our alumni is strong, and I have served as the president of IIT BHF in the San Francisco Bay Area. Currently, I balance my role as a fractional CMO for startups, as well as serving on the board of IIT Bay Area, as well as IIT Startups. So, Mr. Murli Manohan Kade, he currently serves as a Scientist G and Division Head of Tactical Systems Division 2 at the Directorate of Systems DRDL, that is Defense Research and Development Laboratory. He has 22 years of rich experience in the field of missile systems design, guidance, and control systems design and development. With an illustrious career spanning over 22 years, Murli has made significant contributions to the development of various missile systems, including Akash, QRSAM, STAR, and NASMR. His outstanding work has been recognized with several prestigious awards, including the DRDO Path-Breaking Research Award, DRDO Agni Award for Excellence in Self-Reliance, and NIT Warangal Distinguished Young Alumnus Professional Achievement Award. Mr. Gade completed his BTech in Electrical and Electronics Engineering in 2002 from NIT Warangal. He later earned his MTech in Dynamics and Control, Department of Aerospace Engineering from IIT Bombay in 2015. So the stage is yours, Mr. Murli. A very warm welcome. Please join everyone in welcoming Dr. Murli.
Thank you, Rishikesh, and
And
thank you, Dr. Vaibhav.
thanks a lot. Jijo, I'll ask you to please share the slide. And of course, Murli, you will need it from the very beginning, right? Your slide.
Yeah.
Sure. So he will share, and then of course, you can continue with the talk. And whenever you need to, go forward with the next slide, just feel free to speak. Not a
Yeah.
problem.
Yes.
All right. Great.
Yeah. A very good evening to all. And thank you very much, Mr. Vaibhav and Mr. Rishi, for giving me an opportunity for presenting my thoughts on defense entrepreneurship and towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. And thank you, Ramesh ji, for introducing me to Mr. Vaibhav and giving me opportunity. So, though I'm not an entrepreneur, but I can talk about what all the DRDO's schemes for encouraging the entrepreneurs of our country. So, the next slide. Can go for next slide. Yeah. So, this slide goes like this: defense entrepreneurship for unlocking innovation, self-reliance, and strategic strength. So, as you all know that India's security landscape has become multi-domain and complex from the recent conflict of Sindoor also, you might have seen that. So, the technological superiority is increasingly determining the outcomes in the conflicts. The best example is Operation Sindoor, and we have seen that we have we got a victory in the Operation Sindoor because of the weapons like BrahMos and a couple of loitering munition, couple of precision strike weapons, as well as the defense weapons like Akash, MR-SAM, S-400 and couple of defense weapons, so that we could protect our country from the enemy targets, as well as we have launched offensive weapons to target the enemy terrorist camps and enemy air bases. So, the technology superiority is mainly the increasingly determining the outcomes of these conflicts. And the modern warfare relies on high-tech sensors. Are you all aware that different sensors like GPS, INS, and satellite communication, satellite sensors, etc. Autonomous platforms like loitering munitions and all, and precision weapons like BrahMos or the other loitering munitions, and AI-driven decision systems. So, these are the modern warfare systems which rely on these things and which determine the outcome of the conflict. And to stay prepared and agile, India needs faster, more innovative, and flexible defense solutions. Uh, Something traditional procurement and R&D pipelines alone cannot deliver quickly. So, the defense entrepreneurship, the today's topic, allows rapid technology infusion and quick adoption to emerging threats. Next. Next slide.
Just a second.
Yeah. Next slide. Yeah. So over the years, India has successfully inducted advanced defense platforms from the global partners from other countries and strengthen its armed forces. However, over-reliance on the external resources can bring certain strategic challenges such as pressure on the defense trade balance, vulnerability to supply chain disruptions, and geopolitical shifts, and limited access to the most sensitive and cutting-edge technologies due to export control. So this you all are aware of this. In the recent Russia-Ukraine war, if you see, these all things are very much valid. So you cannot depend on the external sources for your weapons. Like you can be depending on US in NATO countries for its weapons. So I'm sure all the weapons are not available for the Ukraine on its own. So then it depends on the mercy of the other countries, like US or some other country, whether they want to give some weapon like a tomahawk or something else. See, if they don't want to give, then you'll be in trouble. So this is very, very important aspect. So the over reliance on the external sources, it should be minimized. So in this process, we strengthening the indigenous capabilities enables the India to ensure technology security, rapidly upgrades, and greater operational independence. So in this case, the Atmanirbhar, the today's title, so that comes into the major picture. So you can import weapons, but the lasting strength comes from building the weapons on your own. So fortunately, we have some finance in most of the weapon systems. Like if you say any missile system, you say we are having the weapon system developed indigenously in India. like a few missiles I would like to name, like the BrahMos. So it was very successful happening in our operation Sindoor. So BrahMos is a joint venture product developed by both India and Russia, and we have indigenous BrahMos in our country. So we have multiple facilities, integration facilities in India. And today's news also, you might have seen Honorable Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh ji and UP CM Yogi Adityanath ji has inaugurated the Atma facility of the BrahMos. So we have the BrahMos missile, very, very powerful. It is the fastest supersonic cruise missile in the world as of now. So we are having this missile. Similarly, Atma's missile, which is a supersonic surface to missile to defend aerial this thing, aerial picture. So like this, you name any missile, surface to missile, air-to missile like Astra, and anti-tank guided missiles like Nag. So you name any missile, we have those missiles indigenously developed in India, and we are producing within our country. Okay. So the bottom line is the strategic autonomy comes from indigenous technological capability. So that's what actually the crux. Next slide. So if you see the global trend, world
Murali, I think people can't hear your voice very well. So is it
oh,
possible? Can you adjust the headset a little bit?
mm,
Maybe just reconnect. I don't know. Maybe that could be a quick solution. I'm not sure.
okay.
Yeah, maybe you,
Am I
you
audible now?
continue.
Am I
Yeah, I think
audible now?
you
Is it
were
okay?
audible. I think there were some audio issues, but yeah, let's continue. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, yeah. So as you see the global trend worldwide, the private sector plays a crucial role. Even let it be USA, let it be Israel, let it be UK. The private sector plays a major role in driving defense innovation. So government sector alone cannot do everything. So the private sector plays a crucial role. So the private sector can innovate rapidly and reduce the cost and shorten the development cycle because they have the freedom for procurement, other things they can do much faster compared to government system. So the India also must tap its entrepreneurial talent to accelerate the defense modernization. The national strategic vision is Atmanirbhar Bharat, the today's title, aims for indigenous design, development, and manufacturing. IDDM, typically we call it as IDDM. So the vision seeks to build a robust domestic defense industrial base and generate high value jobs and exports and develop sovereign technologies for strategic autonomy. Next slide, please. The government of India, yeah, yeah. Government of India initiatives like innovations for defense excellence IDEX. This is one scheme and a technology development fund TDF. These are the two schemes introduced by the Ministry of Defense for encouraging the startups, MSCMEs, and academia to participate in the national building. So I will be telling about these schemes very detailed in the consequent slides. So IITs and other research institutions are emerging as critical innovation nodes in this ecosystem. So the self-reliance is not just an academic goal; it's a strategic implementation imperative. So defense entrepreneurship is the bridge between the national security needs and technological innovation. So without technological innovation, you cannot achieve the security needs. So enabling India to move from being a technology importer, the way earlier we were like 15, 20 years back, now we are technology exporter and strategic leader. Now you can say that we are in a position to export our missile systems like BrahMos, Akash, Pinaka, and lightweight tank. And these are the things actually we are able to export to our friendly nations also. So we need more import. We are able to export the weapons to our friendly nations also. Next. So the Ministry of Defense India aims to transform India from being a technology recipient to a global defense innovation hub. So these are the main things. One is the indigenous design, development, manufacturing, IDDM route. And then export of advanced defense systems to the friendly nations. And the key drivers for this vision are the strategic autonomy, technological superiority, economic growth and job creation, ITDM. Next. So national target given by Government of India is $25 billion in total defense production in 2025 for our country, and $5 billion in defense exports, including aerospace and dual-use technologies, to build a robust domestic ecosystem. So these are the major targets, and we are almost able to achieve it. Next. The government R&D, the Indian defense ecosystem is a snapshot you can see like this. First one is the government R&D, that is Defense Research and Development Organization. Second is the public sector, Defense PHC, Delhi Conference Limited, Bharat Dynamics Limited, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, etc. And private industry, MSMEs, startups, and strategic partners. They are the bigger players like LIC Defense, Adani Defense, Tata Advanced Systems Limited, Mahindra Defense Systems, Bharat Forge, Kalyani Group, etc. These are the strategic players. And academics and R&D institutes like IITs, IISc Bangalore, and other universities. And policy enablers. Policy enablers are from the government. One is the Defense Acquisition Policy 2020, IDEX, TDF, Technology Development Fund, Make in India scheme, and FDI reforms. So these are the things actually in the defense ecosystem in our India. Next. So the emerging opportunities for the entrepreneurs in the defense, these are the typical areas I'm covering. Unmanned systems, they can be UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles or drones, unmanned ground vehicles, UGVs, unmanned autonomous underwater vehicles, artificial intelligence, sensor systems, missile avionics systems like RF and infrared, imaging infrared seeker systems, onboard computers, navigation systems, actuation systems, etc. for the missiles, advanced materials and additive manufacturing, electronic warfare systems, cyber security, network-centric warfare systems, communication systems, space and satellite-based defense solutions, quantum computing applications in defense, new technology, that is civil and defense. Startups can plug the niche technology gaps as of now. So, next slide. So, the two important schemes I will be covering now, the government initiative for enabling the startups. So, that is the major, the main agenda today. So, first one is the innovations for defense excellence. We call it as IDEX. So, this is a startup innovation platform administered by Defense Innovative Organization DIO under the Department of Defense Production, under the Department of Defense Production. So, this has mainly incubation and funding for the startups and support smaller scale innovations and prototyping. And the funding will be typically in the order of 1.5 to 10 crores. Okay, this is for the smaller scale. Other one is the Technology Development Fund, TDF. And this is a technology grant scheme administered by our own organization, my own organization, Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, under Ministry of Defense. So this TDF basically supports the MSMEs and industries, supports larger, deeper technology development up to 50 crores. You can see here, the fund that is allocated for the TDF scheme is maximum up to 50 crores. Earlier it was 10 crores, now it is graded to 50 crores. Whereas in IDEX, it is for small scale innovation, so it is up to 10 crores. Whereas in the TDF, it can be 50 crores. And provides non-equity grants up to 90% of the project cost. Encourages the collaboration with the DRDO. We have more than 15 agencies in the country under DRDO, like DRDO, RCI, ASL, ADE, DLR, NRDA, like that, we have different laboratories. Each laboratory works on such certain technological area. Like we have a missile cluster, we have the aeronautics cluster, we have electronics cluster, we have a naval cluster. Now that we have different clusters. In each cluster, we have multiple labs like DIL, ASL, RCI. These are considered in missile cluster. LRD, CAP, these are things comes under LRD and DLR comes under electronic cluster. ADE, GTRE and comes under aeronautical cluster. So each cluster will look after certain technological areas. So now this encourages the startups to MSMEs to interact with various entities. So whatever they are developing or under development, and whatever the user or that means the services required. So there is a gap always. So only DRDO alone provides from the gap. So now the private industry MSMEs they can fill these gaps with the help of the TDF. Okay. And the target the strategic technologies like electronics, propulsion systems, composite weaponized, artificial intelligence and machine learning, unmanned systems, electronic warfare, etc. These are the very core technologies which TDF is encouraging. And any other technology, if you can propose, which is useful to government services, okay, it can be considered. Next. So there is a proper voice problem. I think I'm not understanding what is the problem. This mic is working before the presentation stopped properly.
Yeah, I think earlier it was working fine when
Yeah.
we tested, but I'm not sure also.
Again,
Yeah.
disconnected and connected. So what is the
So maybe on your audio, if you go, so there is an option of audio. On the right side, there's an arrow. So maybe click on
okay?
that, and
Okay.
maybe what you do is instead of your microphone, you can select
Ah,
your system. You can select your system, your
system
laptop system.
speakers.
So maybe
That means
yeah.
speakers. Okay.
So maybe instead of your audio phone, it will take your laptop as a noise.
Yeah.
So maybe
Now I
that
have connected it to my laptop rather than audio.
so probably it could be better. You can try. Maybe you can continue, please. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I will continue with this speaker from my laptop.
I think it's a lot better. Actually, it's a lot better. Yeah.
Okay, okay. There must be some problem with the headphones, maybe. I'm very sorry for the inconvenience. Okay. So this slides, from this slide onwards, I'll be talking mostly about the schemes by DRDO in detail. This slide talks about initiatives taken by the DRDO. So as I mentioned earlier, the Technology Development Fund TDF scheme is one such thing. Dare to Dream DRDO Innovation Challenge, Dare to Dream 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 like that. Every year we have a scheme like this, and you can participate in the innovation challenge. And transfer of technology TOT policy of the DRDO, whatever the technology transferred by the DRDO, it will be transferred to the industry on a free of cost. There is no fees at all. So at a free of cost, the technology can be transferred to the industry. And the DRDO patents have been made available to industry for use at nil cost. Today, the DRDO test facilities have been opened to industries for testing their prototype. This is a very recent measure taken by Government of India, that our DRDO facilities are now open to private industries and MSMEs. The example, like we have a environmental test facilities, we have a aerodynamic test facilities, we have a structural test facilities, we have wind tunnels. Okay, we have other test facilities. So these test facilities will be now open to industry. So industry can apply if they have certain missile system or certain weapon system they develop, and they want to test those weapon systems in our DRDO laboratories, in the test facilities. They can apply, and it will be permission will be given to them based on the availability of the slots, and they can test the thing. So that way, the development cycle for developing weapon systems or any product for defense, it will be reduced because of these facilities opening to private industry. And center of excellences, we call the DRDO Industry Center of Excellence, we call DIECOE. With various IITs and IISc, we have a center of excellences. So DRDO lab and academic institutions can interact with the industry as well as academia, and take up a project which is of a low TRO level, something like a TRO level 3 or TRO level 4, something like that we can take up, and we can work together. Like that means DRDO, industry and the academia like IIT or IISc can together solve certain complex problems where the TRO levels are very low. So this is also another one good scheme. Next. We have different verticals, identified research areas. Some 27 verticals are there. So we can take up into any vertical, and you can do that collaboration. So if you see this, the significant milestones of the TDF scheme. So I will not go very detailed. I'll just give a brief that it started somewhere in the 2014 by then late Manohar Parikarji, Defense Minister, ex-Defense Minister. It started, that is his idea of this TDF thing. he is our own alumnus. Dr. Manohar Parikar sir is from our IIT Bombay. He is alumnus. So he has initiated this TDF scheme with the 10 crores as the funding. So later, every year that keep on updated, Government of India and DRDO updated the scheme, and as of now, it is 50 crores. So you can see from the news that our Honorable Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh ji has increased this amount to 50 crores recently. Next slide. So this slide shows the overview of this TDF scheme. So you can see that there are five players. What are the five players? One is the DRDO, that is the main player. The creation of vibrant domestic defense technology sector by DRDO. Then tri-services, identifying of the potential projects based on the requirements from the tri-services, DDP, etc. Then industry is another partner, a step towards accelerating technology development through industry. Other one is that technical domain experts like DRDO excels in diverse defense technologies crucial for developing indigenous military capabilities. And the fifth one is academia. So opportunity to interact and collaborate with some of the best minds in the country. That is our IIT and IISCs. Next slide. I'm getting couple of questions. So what I will do after end of the presentation, whichever I can answer immediately, I will answer. Other things I will note down and I will answer separately. I will provide the answers to the organizers. Maybe they can share with the people who ask the questions.
Sure, Murli, as I told you, so after your talk ends, we will take up the
Yeah.
questions, as many we can. Otherwise,
Yeah.
we can provide the answers as you mentioned. Thanks a lot. Yeah,
Yes.
please
Yes.
continue.
And now comes to the scope of the TDF projects. So scope of TDF project like this, the products having potential use for the tri-services. Tri-services are Army, Air Force and Navy. These are our tri-services. So whatever the potential use for them, those will be giving a main priority. And development of innovative, futuristic technologies, products for defense and dual use applications. Sometimes if there is a dual use application, that also will be given priority. That means the application can be used for a civilian as well as for the defense application. Then upgrading the technology readiness levels from TRL 3 to meet the tri-service requirement. So as I told, TRL 3 is a very low level, that is in the main means in the more of a research oriented. So we have to make it to at least more than 5 or 6 or product to get a product to be realized, at least it should be more than 8. So we have to increase the TRL level of that particular technology from very low TRL level of 3 or less than 3 to more than 8 or 9. That is one of the scope. And enhancing the products and processes, reducing the material uh, consumption for improved efficiency and sustainability. Just developing components, assemblies, addressing the technological gaps and upgrading for Indian industry. So these are the scope. Next. The TDF scheme key insights, though it is told again, once again I'm mentioning here, funding will be up to 50 crores to the industry, especially MSMEs. If it is MSME and startup, the priority will be given mostly to the MSMEs and startups. And the eligibility is the industry must be owned by and controlled by a resident Indian citizen with minimum 51% of the ownership, and R&D collaboration allows collaboration with academia and research institute, as I told earlier. And duration, maximum development period is set to 4 years. So generally, typically it will be from 2 to 4 years. Next. So if you visit the TDF website that I have mentioned the TDF website address in the presentation, you can see a typical thing. I have taken a screenshot and I'm showing. These are the typical technology grid of the TDF. You can see there is aerospace and avionics engineering, electrical engineering, mechatronics engineering, marine engineering, naval architecture, biomedical, nanotechnology engineering, armament and combat engineering. Next. Environmental, civil, optical and photonics engineering, polymer engineering, robotics, electrical, um, computer science engineering, etc. Next. So these are only limited thing I'm showing. There are multiple things. If you visit the TDF website, you can see, you'll find almost all the engineering sectors will be covered in the TDF. And this is the screenshot I've taken from the TDF website. It shows the TDF invitation for the feasibility or RFI. Okay, you can see the typical application, like what are the typical invitation for feasibility. One is the design and development of AC compressor for a ship, design and development of heat exchanger, design development of air starting motor for ship. Like this, if you see, there are so many applications. These are the feasibility studies and RFs are required, asked by the TDF. So you can visit this site and you can open it and study that. If anything is interesting to you and if you are able to contribute to that, you can apply online. Okay. So any further assistance required, I have a couple of my friends working in the headquarters in the TDF directorate. So I can help in bridging the gap between the applicants, our alumni, and the DRDO DTDF, Directorate of Technology Development Fund. So directly you can apply online. If you find any difficulty or if you find any further information, I will be in a position to help in getting their doubts cleared or any other help. Next. So this is the committee structure. We have a empowered committee and a technical committee. We have project monitoring and the chairman, secretary, DDR&D will be, these are the people work, reporting to him. So this is the structure for the committee, which is clearing the projects. Next. The process flow of the TDS scheme is like this: advanced planning and consultation, feasibility studies, grant of acceptance of necessity, AON we call, and then selection of expression of interest, EOI, selection of DA, and project monitoring. So these are the typical steps involved in the flow of the TDF scheme. Next. So the development, this is evaluation criteria. The development agency will be evaluated under following four broad categories: design capability 60, fabrication and manufacturing capability, maintainability and life cycle support, commercial criteria. Next. So these are the benefits to the industry. So if you see what are the benefits to the industry if they apply to the TDF scheme, one is that maintenance, ensuring life cycle support and maintenance of the technology, intellectual property rights, joint ownership of the IPR along with the DRDO, licenses, licensing of the product and technology for the commercial gains, sales opportunity, export opportunity. Next. Financial support, as I told, received substantial technology development funding in the financial support up to 90% or maximum up to 50 crores. Growth opportunities enable MSMEs and startups to grow. Collaboration with the DRDO, access DRDO expertise and resources, whatever I told, the laboratories and test facilities, they will be available to the MSMEs for their testing activities and all. And innovation and R&D, engage in cutting edge innovation and reputation building. So by working with DRDO and other reputed institute academia, the reputation of the particular MSME will be increased, enhance the credibility and successful projects. Next. So I will show some success stories till date from the TDF scheme. Next slide. So you see, these are the multiple industries or MSMEs. They were funded with the scheme of TDF, using the scheme TDF, and got benefited and delivered the products. So I will show in the subsequent slides what are the product developed by these companies. So there are multiple companies like that, and future so many other companies are also coming up and joining TDF scheme. Next. So some success stories you can read here. I will not be reading the full text. I will just give the gist of the thing. One is that ERINC 818 video processing and switching module, smart multifunctional display for the military grade, and autonomous UAV for search and report rescue operations, and composite materials for seawater pumps. Next. Composite dewatering pumps, simulator for unmanned ground marine UAVs, Divya Drishti, a cutting edge AI tool for personal identification, futuristic high performance propulsion systems, fuel systems. Next. So these are the product images also you can see developed by those TDF partners, the companies which are funded by TDF. They have developed the things and they have delivered the products also. They are not in the initial stage. They are already developed. So predictive maintenance solution for the aviation, solid state power amplifier SSPA, that is very, very important for the radar systems, and VLF and HF matrix, VLF loop aerial. Next. Like this, development of tools for data assessment and active learning and believability of visual data, marine desalination for the life rafts, long life seawater battery. So if you see here, I have given only few. There are hundreds of technologies like this were funded by the DRDO TDF scheme to the private industry, and they have developed the products and they have delivered the products. So it is no more that it is in the initiation. Now they are in a very advanced stages, and more will be coming soon. Next. So the deep tech projects, Sumitra and Siddhi. So this is the announcements of the new scheme during the interim budget 2024 to strengthen the deep tech technologies for military defense applications and accelerate the vision of Atma. 25% of the defense research and development budget now is catered for this TDF and other these schemes. Okay, so that is a huge fund. So there is no dearth of fund. Only if you have innovative ideas, you can apply through TDF. Definitely, it will be considered by DRDO, DTDF. And Honorable Defense Minister unveiled cutting edge and deep tech technologies during Defense Technology Acceleration Workshop, TWARL, in October 2024. DRDO has entrusted TDF for undertaking research and development of cutting edge and deep tech technologies. Next. And deep tech projects, these are the projects already asked by TDF Directorate, request for RFI. So few are like compact electromechanical actuators, development of indigenous thrusters for the hard craft, development of high purity silicon carbide source powder for the bulk growth of SAC single crystal. So like this, if you see remote sensing, data analysis and fusion by AIML, antenna pointing mechanism, etc. Next. So you can read these things. I will not read all the things. It is given in the slides. I will share the slide. You can go through that. So there are multiple technologies like this, from electronics, propulsion system, computers, everything you see, it is covered the spectrum of technologies. Next. Next. So one more scheme. So this is up to till now I covered the TDF scheme. So one more scheme is there, that is Defense Testing Infrastructure Scheme, DTIS. This is not by DRDO. This is by other departments in the MOD. The DTS was launched in May 2020 to create state-of-the-art testing infrastructure via public-private partnerships, support 68 greenfield testing facilities, funding via grant in aid up to 75% in many projects are available in the DTIS. And the purpose of this is to reduce the dependence on the few labs and speed certification and scale for the industry across the regions. So recent DTIS projects and testing labs are being set up across the states like Tamil Nadu and UP. Next. The self-certification and procurement report, this is very, very important. The self-certification reduces the routine inspection burden. Self-cert status granted to vendors meeting the standards like validity, audit provisions, helps quicker market access and easier business for the compliant procedures. Procurement. So there are two types. One is the Buy Indian, other one is IDDM categories. So and revised DAP, Defense Acquisition Procedure. So DAP to aim to give the preference to indigenous suppliers and faster trials for MSMEs and startups. So the newer reforms accelerate the trials, approvals, and indigenous pathways. So for further details, I request you to please refer to the Defense Acquisition Procedure DAP 2020 document from the mod.gov.in. So this is available, very detailed document. So this will give you further details about the this DAP. Next. So till now I covered the very broad this thing. So now I will cover something about DRDL where I am working, my own laboratory. So this I have taken from my colleague who is looking after these indigenous systems and indigenization with respect to industry. Based on the interactions with him, I have categorized. He has given me some of the items which are subsystems which are for the indigenization in the DRDL. So you can see that category and subsystem to be indigenized. I'm mentioning here. So one is that servo actuation systems and motors and drivers. So subsystem to be indigenized are servo actuation systems, compact brushless DC motor, BLDC, frameless brushed DC motor, drivers for BLDC motors, relays and contactors, electromechanical relays, high voltage and current contactors, solid state relays, Mechanical systems like bearings for high performance actuation systems, high speed and high temperature ball bearings, IIR seeker related systems. So in the missile, the seeker system plays very major role for detecting the target and tracking the target. So the major component in the IIR seeker system are IR detectors. So these IR detectors, there is a huge demand to indigenize these IR detectors and other optical systems. Okay, and then inertial navigation systems and gyros for stabilization system. So you know that most of these sensors we are importing from other countries. Slowly we are indigenizing these sensors in our country. So I request people can look after these things. They are like a niche technologies and having a lot of potential. If we can venture into these systems like INS, inertial measurement units, rate gyro systems, and all the things for the inertial navigation system, they are also very much in demand. Next. Similarly, fuses. So these fuses will be to detonate the warhead, you require a fuse, but detecting certain things, like in this long impact delay fuse. So after impact is detected, you have to give a delay and detonate the warhead. So that is called long impact delay fuse. RF systems like radio altimeter. When you are flying a cruise missile or an anti-ship missile, the altimeter which is mounted in the belly of the missile, which will be measuring the height or altitude of the missile with respect to the surface. That will be typically like 5 meter to 10-meter altitude. That is like a sea skimming or a very low altitude cruise application. So these altimeters also having a huge demand. So radio altimeters we can think of indigenizing in the country. Special materials like special alloys, niobium C103 alloy, transducer. These are they are very simple and small, but they are having a huge demand in our testing and missile application, like pressure sensors, vibration sensors, strain gauges, acoustic transducers, etc. And electrical connectors, so there are umbilical connectors. So the high density compact connectors are required, compact connectors which should be kept in the missile. When the missile is launched, this will be separating the external power source from the missile, and it will be connected to internal power source. So these are all the electrical connectors. So these are the various technologies and systems which we want to indigenize and want to help industry in developing in our country. So these are the areas, subsystems and technologies where the interested entrepreneur can look into that. Next. So the conclusion, I have just come to conclusion part. The road ahead and Atmanirbhar Bharat in defense. The key takeaways from my lecture: the defense entrepreneurship is no longer aspirational. It is a strategic national priority. To give an example, actually, there are so many people venturing into defense entrepreneurship. It is not a, like earlier, it is a dream, like we think that only the big companies like a Tata or L&T or Adani only can do. Small companies cannot do. It's not like that. That is the myth. Actually, small MSMEs and startups are coming up and they are contributing like anything. They are developing so many niche technologies and contributing to our defense ecosystem. So I will give one example. My own colleagues who worked with me in DRDO, scientists, they resigned and they started a startup, and they were doing good work, and they whatever they designed, that is the laser weapon system. You might have seen that we have developed a laser directed energy weapon we call TGWQ. So for that, they have developed the radar systems and all to detect the drones. So they are our own people, two scientists. They have just started a startup, and with their knowledge, whatever they gained here, they started a startup and they have developed the technology and they have augmented the DRDO. So that is the system. You can see during the August 15th or those days near to Red Fort, they will deploy that DEW, that laser weapon system, to protect the surroundings of that Red Fort, other things from the incoming drones and all. So that is one good example like that. I have seen so many youngsters who are starting the MSMEs and the small startups, and doing a very good job. So being IIT alumnus, definitely IIT alumni, definitely you people can do much better job than anybody else. So I strongly request and recommend all the people to think of contributing to our country, Atmanirbharta, by developing the indigenous technologies within our country. And India has created robust ecosystem, as I told, through IDEX and TDF, Technology Development Fund, defense corridors, as I told, Lucknow UP Defense Corridor, Tamil Nadu Defense Corridor, like this. Procurement reforms were there, like DAP 2020 and all. Testing infrastructure, I told. and startups and MSMEs, academia and strategic partners like Adani, L&T, Tata, etc. are now core stakeholders in the defense innovation. So every stakeholder is very, very important to improve our defense innovation in our defense ecosystem. The way forward is something like this: innovate boldly. I recommend everyone, I request, leverage the government schemes like whatever I told, the TDF and the procurement reforms, etc., and develop the niche technology and mission critical technology. Today, even though DRDO developed so many things, still there is a lot of scope to develop the niche technologies and some mission critical technologies. Still, we are importing certain components. So those things can be thought of by our alumni and collaborate widely, build strong industry, startup and DRDO partnership. So with collaboration only we can do much better things and much better products rather than doing alone. So this collaboration is very, very important. And scale it rapidly. Focus on indigenous production, dual use technology and export opportunities so that you can scale your industry rapidly. Next. So with this, my technical contents are over. I would like to acknowledge these scientists. One is Dr. G.S. Srinivasmurthy, the distinguished scientist, my director, DRDL Hyderabad, Mr. Naveen Namdev, Sri Arjun Kumar, Srimati Hetal, Dr. Vasana Gupta. So these are the scientists from the DTDF, Directorate of Technology Development Fund, DRDO headquarters. I have taken most of the slides from them. They are kind enough to share the slides and information with them in a short notice. So I have shared those information with you. And Mr. Naveen Namdev, who is a scientist in DRDL, he has shared what are the indigenous technologies in DRDL is looking for from the industry. So I acknowledge these people. Next. And a big thank you, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbhar Bharat. So the ultimate tagline is, let us realize the dream of a self-reliant defense ecosystem under Make in India initiative. Jai Hind. So
Th- Thanks a lot, Murli
technology
ji, for
presentation is over.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you can ask queries
yeah.
based
Thanks a
on
lot for such an
yeah.
enthusiastic and fantastic talk. Of course, we still have some time, so we will start with questions. And as you mentioned, if we can't do, what we will
Yeah.
do is we can take them. I'll take them and share it with you. And once you share, I'll share in the groups. I think that will be the easiest way
Yes.
to go ahead.
Yes. Yeah.
But anyways, what I'll also do is I'll share your presentation and your email
Ah,
ID, your email ID.
yes.
So if someone sees any
Sure.
synergies
Sure.
or if has any doubts, as you were mentioning, they can write to you in the
Yeah.
near future and explore synergies with DRDO and stuff like that. I think
Sure.
that would be
Sure.
interesting.
Definitely.
Of course, there are ITB
Definitely.
alumni, but there are also non-alumni. So there are a lot of
No
non-alumni,
problem.
non-ITB alumni also who are building on these fronts. So if
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
see any
Sure. Sure.
synergies also, I think you should not have any problem in supporting them as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Any Indian citizen.
Yeah.
It is open to all
All
Indian
right.
citizens.
All
And
right.
ultimately,
No,
we have to achieve that Atmanirbharta. For that, whatever is required from DRDO or DRDL from side and as well as from the DTDF DRDO headquarters also, we can coordinate and we can help. But
okay.
though I'm not in the entrepreneur and I'm not looking after any of these things. I'm a
Uh-huh.
pure scientist and technologist.
Uh-huh.
But I would like to share all the information, whatever I could get from it, DRDO, other directorates I have shared with you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So to begin with, I see a question from Ajay, but it's a bit complex question. So maybe Ajay, what I'll do is I'll share it with him, and he can share the answer later with you. And I'll move to the next one, which is by Yogesh. So Yogesh is asking, what is the platform for plugging the capacity gap vis-a-vis startup capabilities? And he's also asking that the COEs which you were mentioning, are they open to professionals? Of course, startups you were mentioning, are they open to individual professionals as well? These are his two questions.
Yeah, for freshers also, if you have an idea, it can be like individual also. We can scheme. There are certain schemes which will support. IDEX is one such thing actually. You can say TDF is a little bit for a bigger thing like MSME. Already, if you have established MSME, TDF scheme will definitely help. If you are an individual, still you through IDEX thing and Dare to Dream concept, you can always share your idea and you can discuss, and then funding will be definitely arranged by DRDO or DRDO or MOD, whichever scheme it is suitable. Definitely it is feasible. individual also feasible. Like you might have heard that certain some BITS Pilani students, they have done some drone they have developed, and DRDO funded it. DRDO and our armed forces funded it. So it is possible. So
Okay.
individuals also can write a email to TDF, and the good thing is that if that is not fitting into their scheme, they will suggest you to where to apply. Also, they will suggest.
Hmm.
So that should not be a problem. Individuals having a innovative ideas also can come up.
Okay, so basically, if you have ideas, you have some innovation in your mind, you write to them.
Yes,
And if
yes,
it's not fitting in existing platform, existing scheme, maybe they can seek
yeah.
guidance where, they can reach.
Yes,
Of course,
definitely, definitely. All
of
people
course.
are now. This government is completely encouraging the startups, MSMEs, and individual innovators. Let it be IITs, in academia, or even individual innovators also. Sometimes we used to get a query from some individual. Will write to PMO. I want to develop this so and so this thing. Then simply straight away that will be forwarded to DRDO chairman. It will come to the respective lab, and respective director will call the technology scientist looking after that, and he will share the information with the teams. Tell that please evaluate this particular gentleman's idea. Is it feasible, not feasible? If so, what are the bottlenecks or what are the things you can suggest? So definitely we are writing up within a certain maybe 15 days or 1 month time. We are replying back also. So that is the level of encouragement we are doing. So definitely at all levels, whether it is a DRDL individual level or at a TDF or in MOD, you write a letter or you apply online. Definitely,
Okay.
it will be encouraged and it will be definitely people get help.
Okay, okay,
No doubt.
great. Thanks a lot. So, of course, I have a very quick question on that, of course, because you mentioned about students from BITS Pilani. I happen to be invited by Rashtriya Raksha University, which is
Yeah.
established by Ministry of Home Affairs in Gandhinagar, and I was an invited speaker to talk about AI on national security. And
Okay.
they were asking if I can mentor some students to help on some of those products. So, what I'm also understanding is that if professionals can work and maybe somebody who's associated with an incubator can work. I think even professors can write that, okay, they are working on some students on some projects, and they can also
100%.
seek some support and guidance from DRDO on that, right? It shouldn't
Yes,
be a
yes,
problem.
that is 100%. That actually it should be like that only. Because
Okay.
like an individual student on his own may not be knowing all the things. Professors actually, because nowadays professors are having a very good image in DRDO as well as the government. So they
Okay.
feel that IITs, IIT professors, IIS, or even other universities also need not be IITs, even other good institutions also. If they have idea and if a professor suggests something, definitely it will be considered. So that is
Okay.
the way actually the mentorship should come from the professors. And after that, actually the TDF and other platforms are there to help further.
Okay.
Yes, agree
Great.
with you.
Thanks a lot. Hirshi, to
Yeah.
you. Next question, please.
Yeah, so the next question is from Gautam Naidu, 96 batch, Aero, BTech. He asks, I think you partially answered the question already. He asked, do we need to go through an incubator like Sign at IIT Bombay to access the IDEX TDF funds, or is it beneficial just because you're already connected with government labs, etc.? The second part of the question is, after such funds are approved eventually, how are they deployed?
So this actually is the TDF scheme, as I told, the flow process. The idea should be now applied to the TDF through online. Then there's a committee, technical committee, as well as the, I have shown the TAPEX body and other things, right? So they will evaluate the thing and the costing also they will estimate. Based on that, the funding will be released in a phases. So that will be decided by the committee actually. What is the technology? For that, what are the funds required? Like any material procurement is there or a machinery requirement is there. So based on those things, actually, it will be decided when to release the funding at what stage, how much fund to be released, and all. It is like a typically like any grant, like not only a DRDO TDF, any typical grant when any other ministry is giving also, it will be something like that. They will evaluate the idea, they'll see what is the requirement of purchasing. Based on that, they will release in a phases. So that is, should not be a problem. So once they apply to the certain platform, automatically things will be followed. They will get all the guidelines they will give. It's not a problem. And with respect to sign, I'm not sure because that DRDO TDF may not be incubating means that with sign and all they may not having regular this thing, but if sign can send certain ideas to TDF. Whatever sign is having like IIT Bombay students and professors, which are ideas they're having, which can be funded further by TDF if they feel the funding of sign, let us say certain limitation, let us say if you have, then that can be sent to TDF and that up to 50 crores as I told. So up to 50 crores can be funded by TDF. So that way it will be advantage. Only sign alone may not be able to fund everything. So that actually sign has to take up that exercise with TDF. Only thing you have to communicate with those websites, whatever I told, contact numbers also I will give. So that they can communicate and they will definitely get the help.
Excellent. I have a comment on the 50 crore number here. I support a lot of startups, and one of my startups is getting funding from ARPA-E in the USA. And they were talking about 2.5 million in the beginning, and after certain stages, 25 million. If I translate this into the Indian rupees, it's a much bigger number. Even if you assume India is 10x more efficient, the 50 crores is essentially, even after 10x multiple is what US is spending on just one startup. And there are many startups. So I believe 50 crores is looks like a big number, but it's a very small number to foster innovation.
True, true. Actually, if we see that, even that 50 crores was announced, I don't think that not even a single MSME or startup applied up to 50 crores. That means, though the government has increased the fund, the situation is that no applications were received of that order actually. So that way there is scope. Still, yes, I agree that 50 crores may not be big number, but certainly for certain people or MSMEs where they don't have any fund, definitely 50 crores is a good amount to start with. And I think that the way if you see, every year this amount, the way they are increasing, 10 crores to 15 crores, 50 crores to again it may increase further also. So that all actually, and another thing is that if the scheme, if the idea is very big and very good, maybe through other means also, maybe it is possible. Though 50 crores is the amount, though it is told, if real genuine thing is there, maybe a further discussion can take place and maybe they may support also through some other means, or they can split into multiple things that like that you understood, no? Like a system, let us say you require 100 crores, let us say you can split into 50 crores, like there is a mechanical system, there is electrical system. I'm just giving example, like a vague example. So it can be split into two parts. 50 crores will be funded by part of the thing for one grant, other 50 crores other grant, total 100 crores can be given. So that's my thought process. I'm not very sure, but I can talk with my colleagues who are in DTDF and get those information also. Let us say somebody comes with a 200 crores requirement. If really genuine and really it is worth and committee clears this thing, yes, it is good. Then can we split into multiple things? That also can be thought of.
Excellent.
Great. Great. No, thanks, Murali, anyways. But well, I think as there are no applicant, I think the idea is that okay, there has to be some applicants who kind of exhaust that money. Maybe then that question comes that how to
Yeah.
go beyond 50 crores. So
Yeah, that's
possibly
what actually,
still.
as of now, whatever I got information that 50 crores, very few applications, one or two, or maybe very less.
So maybe we
Most of
need
the
a lot
people are
more
applying for
applicants.
small things only.
Yeah. So maybe we need a lot more applicants to first work on those 50 crores, and then maybe
Yes,
government will also start thinking a lot more than
yes.
that.
50
But
crores,
anyways,
that
So
way
the
is a big
current
number.
50 So the current 50 crore limit is per project, or is it overall budget?
No, per project,
it's a per
per
project.
Oh,
application, per
Yeah, per
application.
applicant. Mhm.
Like
okay,
that,
okay,
you can
that's
have
good.
multiple applications. That's why, because they have allocated a huge fund, so that way actually this is possible. Because 25% of the defense R&D budget is now allocated to this private sector with these schemes and all. So definitely it is a good amount of funding is there. So if required, if really there is a genuine requirement and if the committee clear, then I think maybe possible also in future. Further, it may
No,
increase.
no, all right, all right. Thanks a lot. Anyways, so because we are almost by the end of the time, so of course, I would like to close. But as Gautam has asked that, recordings, if you have already registered for the talk, you are in one of those groups, you will receive the recording. Please don't worry about it. You will also receive the slides. There are some other questions which I found interesting. Maybe you can take
Okay.
1 minute, maybe to speak on them because we are almost end of the time. So one question which
Yeah.
I found interesting was about data infusion and opening using of open source stock. So is that allowed by startups to use open data sources and open stack and innovate on that possibly? Because you may have a quick answer to that, or maybe we can send that question to you, and maybe you can ask your colleagues and then let us
Can
know.
you just repeat the question? That means whatever data that can be given to MSMEs, the data you want, okay, open data means what, is that
So
means something?
basically, the question is about, there's an open source stack, for example, open data source, or anything which is, which others are also building on. Can you use that basically to build on your products and something like that? And also because Gautam has also asked that if there is already a gap on this front, basically there is a strategic gap on this front or not, for example.
Okay. So this I have to think, because this never thought in that direction. Maybe that you can send all the questions. Leisurely,
Yeah,
I will just go through those things and I will
sure, sure.
discuss with my other colleagues and try to get those information.
Sure. Because you're working exactly or more on
Yes.
the hardware part, and the questions which are more on the mathematics and the modeling and all those stuff side. And coincidentally, both Ramesh
No,
and
actually,
I.
I'm not a hardware person basically.
Okay, okay,
I'm also software person only. My thing is
okay,
all everything on a computer. I design everything on a computer. All the guidance, control algorithms, everything,
okay.
modeling, simulation of the entire
Oh, okay,
aerospace
okay,
system. Everything is like
okay,
a software. It's basically software. But
okay,
understanding the physics with software, that is
okay,
the duty.
okay, okay.
Rather than doing a commercial software, I'm
Uh-huh.
working on a physics-based systems modeling
Okay,
and
okay,
guidance control, all the things.
okay.
Actually.
No, so by the way, Ramesh and I both happen to be from the Department of
But
Mathematics at
same
IIT.
department.
Yeah.
Okay.
So which is
Great.
very interesting because the question, it's interesting because it talks about very interesting, optimization, modeling, design, numerical simulation, and all those things what Ramesh and I usually have done in the past or at some point of time. But yeah, but
Yeah.
anyways, as you mentioned, what we will do is we'll share the questions and then
Yeah.
you can share the answers, and I can send to the respective
Sure.
participants in the group. All right.
Sure.
So
Definitely.
anyways, yeah,
Thank you.
thanks a lot, Murali ji, for such a fantastic talk. And somehow we have never touched upon defense or defense entrepreneurship, space entrepreneurship,
Correct.
anything like that.
Yeah.
And of course, thanks a lot to Ramesh ji as well for bridging this gap.
Yeah.
Anyways, at some point
Yes.
we also talked with Ramesh ji to bring some colonel or somebody from
Yeah.
defense services, but somehow that was not possible. But this was a very, very, very good beginning, and hopefully we will have a
Yeah.
lot more people from somebody from the home ministry or defense services or one of those guys who can give a lot more inside understanding, inside news, and maybe help us understand a lot more deeply on some of those products which you were talking about. But it was a very
Yes.
fantastic beginning on defense entrepreneurship
Absolutely.
that you gave
Thank you.
to
Thank
the
you,
entrepreneurship.
Murliji.
Thank you.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
thanks a lot, everyone,
Thank you.
for attending this on
Thank you very
Saturday,
much for
on
giving the
Dhanteras especially.
opportunity,
Happy Diwali,
Vaibhav
Happy
and
Diwali, everyone. Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Happy
Bye
Diwali.
bye.